Well, you know what? The school days are approaching. Parents are saying yay, kids are saying nay. But listen, today we're going to tell you about how to get your kids' health checklist ready for class. And joining us now is Dr. Alyssa Franzblau, who's the pediatrician at Montefiore Grand Concourse Practice, and we welcome you.
Hi, thanks
How
for
you
having
doing?
me. Doing well.
And I really meant that because, you know, parents are like, yay, and the kids are like, nay, right? A lot of stuff going on. But listen, let's talk about getting back to school and some things that really, you know, we should know about. Let me start off with first day anxiety.
Yes.
Okay, kids are going back to school for the very first day.
Yes.
I've heard parents say they've got anxiety, kids have anxiety. How real is it?
First day anxiety is completely real, as any parent will tell you.
Okay.
So children are nervous. They've just had the summer where they've had the time of their lives, not having to wake up early and go to school. And now you're telling them they have to get on a bus with a bunch of other kids and leave the comfort of their home. So the best thing to do is to prepare your kids. Don't wait until the day before school starts to let them know, hey, tomorrow's the first day of school, or you got to go back eventually. Start getting them back into their routine early. So now's the time. Get them back into the routine. And if they already started school, then 2 weeks before the school starts, you should start getting back into the routine at least.
Parents' biggest challenge sometimes is when their kid goes back to school, sickness, right?
Yes.
And so commingling with kids, the possibility of being sick. So how do you deal with this, school infections and preparing? Because we hear a lot of that in schools.
Yes. So, back to school time, like you were saying, is really exciting, especially for parents. But it's also the beginning of cold and flu season.
Absolutely.
So the biggest thing that you can think about is teaching your kids effective hand washing. This is the one thing that we know, well, many things, but one of the best things about preventing germs. And we know kids are really good at spreading germs. So effective hand washing is water, soap underwater, at least 20 seconds, sing the happy birthday song if that helps them learn how long to do it. And then teaching them when to wash their hands. After using the bathroom is a must, before touching food, whenever they touch something dirty. Other important things that we want to do for, keeping health in school, make sure their vaccines are up to date, and teaching kids to not spread germs, sneezing in their shoulders, not touching your face all the time.
Right.
That's the best things we can do.
And so give me this. We talked about vaccines for a minute. Parents are considering flu vaccines. A lot of people are like, yes, no, maybe so.
Absolutely. So, as a pediatrician, absolutely, you got to get your flu vaccine. I'm a big proponent of that. So flu season typically starts October and runs through May, which not a lot of people realize. It keeps going even when it starts
pretty much the whole school year.
It's the whole school year, and
Right.
the average child gets 5 to 6 infections in a year. That's a lot. That's a lot of infections. So the flu vaccine is the one thing that we know helps prevent the flu. And why do we want to prevent the flu? The flu is different than a cold. A cold is kind of gradual, runny nose, cold symptoms. The flu hits you like a truck, right? And it includes those symptoms, but as well headaches, body aches, feeling excessively tired. And for children, they're particularly vulnerable, especially to dehydration, to pneumonia, and some children, healthy children, can also die from the flu. So that's why we really care about preventing flu, doing the things we just talked about preventing germs, but also including flu vaccine in your armory of preventing infections.
So let me have a throwback moment here because
Sure.
my kid's already out. He's in college, second year. All right, good. But here it is. I remember times when he would come home and he'd come home sick, right?
Sure.
And of course we know that he's commingling with other kids and this and that. And so the parent in me is frustrated because I'm saying, why are you allowing your child to come to school when they're like this?
Right.
There ought to be some cutoff, if you will, as to when's a good time to bring your kid to school, when's your time to keep them at home or her at home. Let's go over that so that way some
Sure.
parent can know, and I'm helping somebody out here. I am.
So when should you keep your kid home from school? One, if they have fever, they probably shouldn't go to school. The main reason we keep kids home from school is one, because they're not going to be able to participate very well, and we don't want to get your kid sick, right? We don't
Right.
want to spread infection. So if they have fever and fever is a temperature over 100.4, they should stay home, and they should stay home until they don't have fever for at least 24 hours. That's the one big one. The other things are if they have a lot of goopy stuff that you can easily spread, remember kids, touching everything,
Right.
we don't want to send them to school where they're going to touch someone else and spread those germs. So if they're having excessive runny nose, if they're having green or yellow stuff coming from their eyes, if they're vomiting or having diarrhea, best to keep them home so they're not spreading any infection to other children. Other reasons to keep them home, if they're excessively tired, they were up the whole night coughing or really sick and they're just not going to really be able to participate in class that day, they should probably stay home. If you're concerned, you should see your pediatrician. If a parent is worried and feels like something isn't right, you should always go see your doctor. But some other rough guidelines of when is this beyond just regular sickness? When should I see my doctor? If they're having cold symptoms for more than a week and it's not getting better, it's not starting to trail off, you should probably go check in with your doctor. If they're not able to eat or drink for a very long, it depends on the age of the child, but let's say 24 hours, less if they're younger. If you notice a difference in how often they're going to the bathroom, how often they're urinating, you should definitely check in with your doctor and make sure everything's okay.
Wow, pretty good. So now let's talk about your pediatrician. How often should a child see a pediatrician, particularly during the school year?
So, at the minimum, we want to see you every year for your annual physical. And that's super important because for us, that's when we check in and make sure that the child is growing well, developing well, and we want to hear all of the great things that are happening in your life. Younger children go to the doctor more frequently, as any parent will tell you. So, depending on their age, they might have more physicals than just one a year. But at the minimum, we should see you once a year. Now, if there's something going on and you feel like your doctor might be a helpful, partner in figuring out what's going on, talk to your doctor and set up an office visit to include them in your care of your child. So for example, if they're really struggling in school and you're not sure if there's a medical component to that, check in with us. Include us in the conversation because we're your partner. It's our job to help you out.
Give us some advice too for, schools have nurses, right?
Yes.
So talk about taking advantage of the nurses in school.
Absolutely. So a lot of schools have nurses in school. If your child's not feeling well that day, or let's say they're kind of not feeling well in the morning, and you sent them to school anyway, you should tell your child, talk to the nurse if you're really not feeling well. And they can kind of be that first layer to see if they have a fever or if they have any concerning symptoms, and they'll tell you that you need to go see your doctor.
Sometimes you know how the kids do. They go see the nurse, and the nurse says go back to class.
They can do that too.
Right. So the nurse has a good job to do. Thank you so much, Dr. Franzblau.
Thank you for having me.
We hope that some parents are watching and will take full advantage of this.
Excellent.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Dr. Franzblau is our guest here on Open. Listen, stay with us. We're taking a quick break. We got more show coming up. Stay with us. Coming right back right after this.